So here's the ornamental grass. My technology didn't quite work correctly. I didn't get this video tacked onto the last one, so I'll just show you the ornamental grasses as a separate video. This is a propane tank, and I've planted some maiden grasses around it, adagio and a dwarf zebra grass that I really like. And it kind of camouflages the propane tank at this time of the year, and also as the grasses grow in the summer and the fall, it eventually kind of gives that propane tank a little less distinction in the yard, which is what I'm going for. But when you're cutting back grasses, cut as low to the ground as you can. That's the thatch from the previous year, and you want to try to get that cut out as much as possible. You really don't want a lot of thatch because it makes it difficult for that year's blades of grass to come through and fill out. Oftentimes, if you don't cut it really low, you do a superficial cutting, you kind of end up with bald spots in the middle of your grasses. So the lower you can go, the better. And I'll do that, and then I'll talk to you about a few grasses that really, for this time in March, this is early March, there are some that you really want to get on top of now because they'll start growing during the cooler weather that we have in March and April. So I'm just going to cut, I've already cut one back because I thought the video was running, but I'm going to just cut another one back to show you. So as you can see, I cut it down, but then I went back and forth a few times to try to get it as low as possible to the ground, again, allowing that new growth to come through. These are maiden grasses. They don't start blooming until, start pushing up new growth until May. So there's plenty of time for those. But if you have one of the more popular grasses right now is Carl Forster. That's a reed grass that grows during the cool weather. It's going to start growing here in March, be later on. And you're really going to want to get that cut down now so that you're not cutting this year's blades of grass. It gives it a kind of a topped off look later in the season if you cut it too late. There's other grasses, the pennisedums, which are fountain grasses. Those you don't have to do right now, but this is a great time to do these things because there's not a lot of other things you can do in the garden. And then when you're ready to go on other parts of the garden, you can take off. Next video I'm going to work on will probably be a week, or it may be more than that depending on the weather, because I'm going to start dividing perennials, and I'll show you different videos on how to divide different perennials, and you might be interested in that. It's things you can do. You can share what you come up with your friends and family, or you can make another garden and spread some of your perennials out. But there really are good reasons to divide, even if you're reluctant to do that. There's some perennials that really benefit from that. So I'll see you next time on that video, and thanks for tuning in.